Friends, family, and keepers of the faith, welcome to another Del Boy blog. And this one is going to be dated as always. It's year 3, blog 44, or in legacy numbers, it's blog 148. And it's dated 21st of December 24. Yeah, and normally I little look out the window and it's quite sunny today, although a bit windy. Dull, you know what I mean. You can tell it's still winter. Glad the fence hasn't fallen over. We've had some more winds. And it's been a bit of a rush the last couple of days, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's get the news out the way, shall we? And we always start off with the war. And as anybody knows, the news is just a date stamp for me. No opinions, really. It's so that my nephew and nieces know what was going on in the world and what my brain was thinking during the whole of this week. So the war. Putin's forces have captured the village of Konstantinovsky in the Donetsk region of eastern Ukraine, which they have stormed and threatened to encircle. Russia also launched 113 drones overnight into Ukraine, wounding 8 people. 57 drones were shot down and 56 electronically jammed. Now, another piece of news that I heard, which was quite late, is that Putin is looking forward to talking to Trump over a resolution over the war. Well, aren't we all? I don't know what Putin's thoughts are, but he's obviously thinking, well, I deserve, or my whole war was based around getting Ukraine back. So, you know, it's one of those things where I think it's just a news article, really. I think Zelensky said he had an interesting conversation with Trump about it. And of course, Trump becomes in power 100 days after the election. So it's the end of January, I believe. So, yeah, we'll probably know a little bit more in about 4 weeks' time, possibly. Here's UK and the rest of the world sort of like news. I can't pronounce his name, but turn away if you, or stop if you don't want to know who won the boxing last night, because apparently this was all over the news this week in the build-up to a big fight against Usyk and Tyson Fury. It's a rematch. In the end, Usyk beat Fury again in a points win in this rematch. I believe it was quite a thrilling fight. A points decision is what happened last time, if I remember rightly. So it seems like they're quite tightly contested, these two. I've never been a big Tyson Fury fan, but I think when I was listening to the build-up on the radio all this week, I was sort of like encouraging Fury to win, if you see what I mean, being as the other one won last time. Possibly that's what it was. And the fact that I've liked quite a few of Fury's fights, but he's got that sort of personality that's not that likeable compared to Muhammad Ali. Do you know what I mean? Muhammad Ali was very outspoken, very confident, said some nasty things to some boxers before his match, but it was all for show. It was all to antagonize. It was all showmanship. Don't believe that true of Tyson Fury, if you see what I mean. There was a likability to Muhammad Ali more than Tyson Fury in my eyes, just in my opinion on that one, because I do have an opinion when it comes to sports people that I like and sports people that I just don't get on with. So that's that. You can open your ears again now. Other news, hundreds watched the winter solstice sunrise at Stonehenge. Yes, of course it's winter solstice, so that means that we gain a little bit more daylight from this day forward. It'll be slow, believe me. Other news, wind has hit the festive travel as Heathrow has cancelled flights. Yeah, so that wind that we had last week, it's been around on and off all week. It was a bit like that last night. And of course, it's caused problems with air travel. Yeah. Other news this week, the Bank of England held the interest rates at 4.75 and warn of UK stagnation risk in regards to economy growth. Yeah, all this week I was hearing that we're very close to the R word, recession. You know, I've lived through so many recessions now, I can't remember when we were in a good time. It was the recession word. It just seems to be repeated over and over and over again. As always, whenever I hear of these hardships, I think of pensioners that can't afford anymore the gas, the electric, the food, all of that sort of stuff. I do blame the war for an awful lot of it. So, you know, that's why one of the reasons, and not the only reason, why I want the war to end. And then, of course, on Friday, it was terrible news. I was listening to this. 5 killed, including a child, plus 200 injured at a German Christmas market on Friday. The driver has been identified as a 50-year-old Saudi Arabian citizen. Yeah, apparently he lived in Germany 10 years and was actually a doctor. But he has links, apparently, or previous links to Taliban or Saudi Arabian things where basically he's been brainwashed. You know, when I hear about these things, it's just so terrible to hear about all the deaths and so forth, and it makes me feel angry, you know, towards the person, you know, mental health issues, brainwashing, whatever. You know, I sometimes think we know what good and bad is, but brainwashing, yeah, I don't know. I just know that was absolutely awful what I was listening to on Friday. Just made me feel so sad just before Christmas as well. Yeah, awful. So, yes, we move on then to my week, really, and it's just another normal, joyous week, really, and nothing really bad to report at all. Let's see, on Monday, went to work, normal, really look forward to that, actually, even though, you know, you were off for such a long period of time after my heart attack, that the weekend just seemed to come and go so quick. My God, where time sort of like stood still a little bit when I was off. So I just thought, my God, I was only asleep twice and I was back at work, and it was almost like next to no time. But all the time I kept thinking, but God, by the end of this week, I'm off again for a couple of weeks for the holiday period. So, you know, it just felt like, oh, it'll be a short week, but actually it seemed quite long. But anyway, went through Monday, no problems, learnt more about monthly reporting, because the week before was weekly reporting on the big project that I'm involved in. Which is moving devices over from one network to another, which has been like 4 years in the making, and is complicated by a refresh program to Windows 11 shortly. So yeah, there's a lot going on there. Afterwards went to physio. Physio was a bit weird, really. Got there, saw the other people. There was a couple of new ones. We were told that next Monday would be the last one before Christmas, and then it wouldn't open again until the 7th, which is moved from a Monday to a Tuesday. They warned us that next week the music that would be played in the background while we're doing our exercises would be Christmas songs. Oh, God. I turned around and said, well, that's one reason not to go then. But no, I'll be going. Anyway, did the exercises, my blood pressure. Now, this is the weird thing. We have a chat at the end, you know, how to eat healthily, sleep deprivation, all of that sort of stuff. Stuff that you need to know in regards to health, a healthy heart and a healthy body. And while she was talking, I felt myself have that, what I was telling you before, where I just fall asleep for no reason whatsoever. And I've put it down to sleep deprivation. Now, when they measured my blood pressure, I happened to mention that that started to happen during the talk. And we measured my blood pressure, and it's almost like a diabetes crash. You know what I mean? If you ever heard of a diabetic having a crash, they just basically collapse, go into like coma. Although for me, it's just falling asleep. My blood pressure had dropped when they measured it to 100. The top region was 115, I think. And the bottom figure was 72. It's supposed to be 120 over 80 for a normal person. My blood pressure has always been like 140, 150. And my lower figure has always been low 100s, like 101, 105. You know, when it's supposed to be 120 over 80. They told me to mention that to the doctor at my next doctor's appointment, and I said I would. And it could be one of the reasons why the tablets might be so strong and need to be adjusted, because I don't quite need that strength, if you see what I mean. It reminded me that when I got out of physio that I needed to do a repeat prescription for gabapentin, my tablets, which aids me with pains in my leg and back, and enables me to walk further. And so I filled in the repeat prescription for that, and that was pretty much the end of Monday, really. I decided to do, late last week, a gaming series of a Steam game called Astrometica. Sorry, that was Facebook there. Astrometica. And I did my second video on Monday of that. I think I've got to episode 5 now, so you can tell during the week I've done a few games, but not that many, just a few. And I'm sort of like edging towards what I'm going to do at Christmas, which is the Friends series, you know, where friends requested games for me to play. There might be a little Christmas special coming out. On Tuesday, it was just work. I was reminded that at Wednesday, my colleagues would be going to London for a monthly meeting, knowing that I wasn't going to be going. And so I'd need to start thinking about doing the daily figures by myself, because people would be travelling to London. Said, no, it's not a problem. Got no issue with that. So Tuesday sort of came and went. And on Wednesday, I went to work as normal. Only this time I was driving to Bicester. So where I've been getting up at work at 6:30, I got up again at 6:30 this time, but my regime has changed an awful lot. I have a lot of tablets to take in the morning, and I have to eat as well. And I needed to make sure that my mother was comfortable. So I turned the heater on so that when she came down in the morning, the room was warm. I got to the car about 7:10, and I was at work for, 7:45. And I was amazed to find that the office was open. That's brilliant. And got into my room. And because I haven't been in my room at Bicester for several months. It'd been turned into sort of like a dumping area. Do you know what I mean? There was an air conditioning unit that was in there. There was a load of sacks ready for giving to the homeless, the offenders that come out of prison and refuse to go to an approved premises or hostel. They sleep rough, so we have probation staff that go out at night and give out emergency sacks to the homeless. That's blankets, toothpaste, disposable toothbrushes, that sort of thing. For the ladies, it would be, the monthly stuff that they need, for their periods. All sorts of stuff are in these sacks, and they hand those out. Those were all in my room. And of course, my desk, which was specifically set for me. I've got an adjustable chair because I've got sciatica, and I've got a prostrate load of document holders and stuff, all just shifted to one side. I was warned of this, but I was told that the room was still mine. So I had to spend 40 minutes putting it back, to the way that it needed to be for me to work. And then I just put a little piece of paper on it saying, please do not adjust this chair. It is adjusted specifically for a person. But what I did do, as I thought it was a nice gesture, I found a monitor and keyboard and mouse that haven't been used in years. And I set up a separate unit to the left of mine. So all they have to do is plug their laptop in, and they've got themselves a working desk, so they don't need to adjust mine. If there's two people in the room, that's fair enough. But I was told that the room was being used for taking sensitive calls, calls that you don't need anybody else around. So there should only be one person in at a time. So they shouldn't need to use my particular area of the desk. So there was that. And then I wanted a cup of coffee. So after I'd done all of that, I thought, I could just do with a coffee. I went into the kitchen, no milk, no coffee, nothing, right? So I go into all the interview rooms where they do interviews with offenders, and that means they always offer them coffee and water and stuff. Couldn't find any. So I went down to the bottom kitchen, and it's where the people that used to live upstairs are now downstairs. It was all moved to there, wasn't it? So I found little sachets of Nescafe and sachets of sugar and little tubs of milk. And I took a load up to the kitchen where I'm at, made myself a coffee, got into my room. By this point, it was it must have been about 8:30. And I started working on the figures. Now, normally I'd have started on those figures at 7:30 in the morning. So I was sort of like an hour behind. But luckily, there weren't that many people that had moved over to the new network. So there was less VLOOKUPs and things for me to do. So I managed to get it done all before 10 o'clock. And then the meeting was going to be at 11. So I had a small meeting with my task person. And, I was told to start looking at some of the documentation because we were going to be rewriting it in the new year. So that was quite fun. The monthly meeting was fine. I finished work earlier than the meeting would end, but I listened to all the important points. They did a quiz in the afternoon. I wasn't really needed for that. So I travelled home, and I must have been tired because I started to feel like double vision. You know what I mean? When I'm driving. So that's a worry for me, but I had a plan in my head for Friday. So I'll talk about that when we get to Friday. So the only thing that needed to be done on Wednesday was my lovely chat I have every Wednesday with Ian Hill, the Ramblings. We weren't going to have another one the following week, so it was the final one before Christmas. So we talked about Christmas, films, TV, music, anything really, but a little bit more spicy with Christmas. And we got to the end, and I mentioned to Ian, would he like to come on to the live event that me and Denny have got planned. I told him the date and day. It's going to be Monday, guys, just in case you didn't know. It's called the Ho 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 Bar Humbug Extravaganza with Del Boy and Denny, but we've now got Ian involved. So it's sort of like the three grumpy old men rather than the three wise men. So I'm hoping Monday's going to be very fun and that you can join us. We did it last year, me and Denny. It was really fun. I enjoyed it immensely. And Thursday then came along. Again, a bit like Tuesday. The people that had gone down to the meeting on Wednesday were travelling back. So it was time for me to do the figures again by myself. No problem. And most of the people that went down to London weren't back in the office until afternoon, which is when I finish. Because I remember I'm in my phased return. So really it was just a matter of do the figures and give a handover report to say what you'd done. So that again was a sort of like a relaxing, get on with it in your own time type thing. So that was brilliant. And then Friday came along and work again as normal, only it's the last day before I finish work. So of course I needed to make sure that my out of office was on, that all my work had been completed, handover had been done, talks about how the last 2 weeks have been with my people's manager, all of that sort of stuff. So it was a busy sort of time. And I needed to get my tablets, those gabapentines that I ordered on Monday. So I went down to get those, and being as I was getting them, I decided I've got a little bit of time. I wonder if I can make things easier for myself next week by doing some of the stuff that I was supposed to do on Monday on Friday. So I went to my Coventry Building Society and took out some money. That's Christmas money. I do that every year, but I usually do it about a week earlier. So you can tell how far behind I was. And I went into town and I got my mum's Christmas present. I get what she likes plus something special, you know, something that she wouldn't know. So, you know, spent just under £200 on my mum. I'd already thought about, being as I'm getting on more with my sister, I decided to get her and her husband, not a present, but I put £100 in an envelope for them. So they've got £100 for Christmas. They don't watch this blog, so it's easy for me to sort of like mention it. And I needed some more aftershave. I don't use aftershave an awful lot, but I do expect next year for me to travel more into London, you know, get my knee operation in order and travel. So I was going to get my normal aftershave, which is Armani Code. But I thought, I'll just ask. So I asked the lady, what if I said, if you're thinking about getting another aftershave, and I usually take Armani Code, what would they recommend? You know, they gave me the normal spiel. There's this Savoy sort of like Johnny Depp sort of like Savage, I think it's called, or something. But they put that on that card. They spray onto a card, you know, when you sniff it. It's got the musky smell, but it's got that after smell of, you know, like flowers, flowery, light stuff, and I don't like that. I like a musky smell. So they recommended this other one, and it was quite nice. It was what's it called? A Million or something. It's called Million Gold or something by. Oh, well, I'll go and get it. Hang on. Here it is. Because I did buy it in the end. Yeah, Million Gold Rabanne or something, right? So they have weird bottles. Have you noticed that? Look, you buy these things now and you're expecting, just a bottle or something. It looks like a bloody gold bar. Anyway, so Armani Code is like 75 quid a bottle. And this one was about £10 more expensive. It was about 85. And she sprayed it on the card and I went, that's nice. But I did say, look, I've learned a long time ago that you put it onto your skin and it smells totally different because everybody's body chemistry is different. So she allowed me to use the tester bottle to spray it. And I sprayed it and I thought, that smells nice. Yeah, it smelled different than the card. So I bought that. So I bought that for myself. It's expensive. I mean, I thought I was buying HP Hewlett-Packard printer ink at that sort of price, because we all know that printer ink is like gold. And came away from that, and I bought myself a fleece from a closing down shop. So this closing down store won't be there after Christmas, so you have to be careful. So I did try it on, made sure there was no snags, that the zippers work and everything. It was down from 78 quid to 25. So I bought that. And that was the end of the shop, and I travelled home. I then asked my mother whether she had a nice day getting her hair done, and whether she'd gone into our butcher's for the Christmas meat. And she said she'd ordered it but couldn't remember. And that's where things get a bit difficult with me, because on Monday I'm expecting to go down and get it, but my mother can't confirm whether she did it or not. And you know what it's like. Butchers are going to be like GP surgeries. They're never going to be able to answer the phone because they're going to be inundated. But they did have a online shop. I went there and you could actually get them to phone you back. So they phoned us back actually on Saturday. Very nice of them. And they said, you left a message. And I said, yeah, I did. I don't know if you know my mother. We live up near, I told them where we lived near. And the guy on the phone said, oh, Val. I went, yeah, that's my mum. She said, oh, yeah, every year she has some meat, yeah. So she came in the shop, and I said yesterday, but she couldn't remember whether she'd ordered the meat. And he looked and he said, no, she hasn't. And I said, is it too late to order because we want a cockerel? And they said, oh, for your mum, no problem. Come in Monday. It'll be ready for you. Is there anything else you want? And I said, yeah, she wants also just a little bit of beef. And he said, not a problem. That's the same as you have every year. So we'll have something put by for you. No problems. Come in on Monday. So that was a weight off my mind. You know what I mean? So that was Saturday, really, what I'm talking about there. And Saturday, the rest of Saturday was waiting for parcels and getting the blog ready. So, as you can see, really, it's like all Christmassy, rushy things, getting jobs out the way so that, because Monday, tomorrow, I've got physio again. Now, that'll take up several hours in the afternoon. So in the morning, I've got to travel down to get the meat. And in the afternoon, I've got to go to physio. So that'll be the day. And then it's Christmas Eve. My God! And Monday evening, I'm doing my live, as I said. So, yeah, it was important that this weekend that I got some of these jobs done. And I'm glad I did. So that's been pretty much my week. And, I've been in reflective mood. And I suppose I get like that because I haven't enjoyed Christmas in years. The last Christmas I really enjoyed, I think, was before I moved to Manchester, so that Christmas is before 1998. And when you think about that, that's 26 years ago. So that's 26 years of not having people come round as much, you know, friends. They don't come round at all. 26 years there for loneliness, really. And Christmas where I tend to see what other people get, you know, the gifts, the cards, diminish down to where I don't get any cards. I get very few presents. Which I get right now, I can tell you now, since my dad died, I get one usual present. It's from my mum. And my mum gives me money. And if you think about it in your head, I'm buying a present for my mum and she's giving me money, which means she's paid for her present. If you look at it that way, it's like mental. Why have Christmas at all? It is a religious holiday. It is something that is very important, you know, to me in the past, but less in it, you know, when we've got to the present. And so I tend to find that I get jealous, I suppose, of other people where they've got families. I've not had a child, so I've never done all that nappy changing, watched them grow up, go to school, watch the presents being opened at Christmas. I've never had that joy. And yet my parents, you know, my mum and dad would have seen me open the presents. They've all had that. So when I try and speak to my mum about it, saying the things that I've missed, she's just said, oh, well, just think about the other things that you've done that others have not had to do, like nappy changing. And I said, yeah, but as I've gotten older, I'd rather do that. You know what I mean? I'm leaving behind no legacy, which is part of what this blog is all about, if you see what I mean. So yeah, Christmas is a sad time. Don't have a wife to chat to or a best friend that I can talk to every day to talk about my woes and my happiness. So yeah, I therefore am getting to a reflective mood that you should be doing before New Year's. I'm doing it earlier. I'm doing it at Christmas. And you know, Christmas is all about the present, really, for yourself. You know, the fun holiday aspect of it, the going out, getting pissed, holiday work dues, you know, social dues, all of that sort of stuff. They're alien to me now. I haven't had one of them in years. All the Christmas dues this year were in London. I can't get to London. They don't think about having them a little bit further north to cater for the one person that won't be there, and who hasn't been there every year for years. No, it's tricky. Yeah. So anyway, that's pretty much that out of the way. That's great. So we'll get to the shout out, shall we? Hopefully I've missed no one. I tend to prep the blog on Saturday, and sometimes the odd one comes in on Sunday and all of that sort of stuff. But big shout outs to all these people that have left a comment for me, that have asked a question, all of that. And here is the roster. Put your hand up when I call your name. No, I'm joking. So we've got Seb's Place, Saul Smitherman, Smitherman, LFC Gamer and Vlogs, Colin Jones aka Ponder, Martroid, Wee Bob Art, Muckman, yeah, Denny, Steve's Gaming, and Carl Todd. Yeah, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And like I say, big thank you to them, because without them, you know, saying anything, then of course this next section becomes much smaller. And some people really like this next section because it's all got some questions in there and all about what your feelings are about something that's happened in the week, or you thought about yourself or something. So absolutely brilliant. So I'll get myself ready with the comments so I can read them out. The first one that comes up, they're not in any particular order, by the way, is from Carl Todd. Excuse me. So he's put, "Hi Del, I may not speak to you before Christmas, so I want to wish you all the best for Christmas, to you and your mum. I know that Christmas can be a difficult time and a time when memories of the past can drag you down, but please remember that you have many friends here and on Discord." Yeah, that's what I'm trying to sort of like think about this year. It's been a toughy year, but we'll get to that when we get to just before New Year's Eve. So I've got some questions he's put. Is question 1, is there anything that you regularly do online over the Christmas holiday period? Question mark. Excluding watching your friends' YouTube channels. For example, I watch Ashens open his advent calendars. I get the music downloads from the Joyzine advent calendar, and I get the free Epic games. Oh, that's interesting. Christmas holiday period, do I regularly do? I think I've mentioned it before. Ever since I've had a computer, I've looked forward to the computer game to go through the holiday period. You know, even if you had a computer very early on and you're at school, you basically wanted a game for it. You'd play it all over the holiday because you knew that you were going to go back in about a week and a half's time. And you wanted to get the maximum enjoyment out of it. So you, in your head, chose the game that you thought was going to last you. You know, there's been so many Christmas hits that we've had for things like the Commodore 64. We had Ghostbusters and we had Outrun coming out and all sorts of stuff. And they all wanted your money to be the Christmas game of the year. You know, the Christmas one, Christmas holiday hit. You know, I think Commando came out towards Christmas, I think, if I remember rightly. Anyway, so as I've had my PC, I used to look, I remember in like from around about 1998 to 2005, Christmas was a special time for me to go to PC World, get my copy of PC Zone, that was the magazine I read, and find the game that was being released over the Christmas period. And generally they were real-time strategy games or simulation games like Sim City and things like that. And I used to look forward to those because I love real-time strategies like Command and Conquer and all of those. Total Annihilation comes to mind. I played that to death. And there's been a number of games that I've bought like that. I've bought Black and White over a Christmas period. I remember that. Yeah, Command & Conquer, Total Annihilation. Commandos was one. Wow, yeah, that brings back memories of that stealthy, isometric war where you have to rescue the Powels in a camp using stealth. That was quite an interesting game over Christmas. Just recently, it's been mostly finding something on Steam. And I remember one year I bought something called Craft the World. I started playing that Christmas Eve. And no word of a lie, I played it once for 15 hours in one day. So it must have gripped me to play that game. I played it for 15 hours. Just digging holes and stopping hordes of zombies trying to get at me. Well, not zombies, but creatures in general. While I was building my defences and trying to find more resources to help protect me. So that was good. Yeah. So yeah, I do that. I look for games for me to play. In the past, I had the ritual of going down Christmas Eve, meeting up with my friends. We'd have a Christmas drink, probably see a live band, and then go to a nightclub. strange times, but you tend to find that the clock hits 12 o'clock or something, and all the women, give you a kiss on the cheek or a snog or something. And I remember looking forward to that clock and getting a sneaky kiss in to any woman that I might have just managed to talk to for about 20 minutes without them getting bored. So yeah, that was interesting. I used to like all that, although New Year was much better. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good enough answer. So we'll go to number two. Oh, but of course, what happens after Christmas? There's always a Steam sale. I get all the free games off of Sony. I get all the free games off of Microsoft because I've got their PlayStation Plus and all of that. I get all the free games for my VR headset. I go to the Epic Game Store and get their free one every day. I go to the Google Play and I get all the free games there. I go to GOG and get all my free games there. That'll happen every day. I think there'll be 12 days of a game every day. So yeah, I'll be doing a lot of that between Christmas and New Year. And every single one of them, those games, I probably won't load or play, but I do it. They're there for life, apparently. So of course, I'm forever doing things like that. So yeah, that's pretty good. I think that's quite a good answer. Yeah, that's the other thing. So number two you've put as a question. I'm not sure if you are a coffee drinker, but all the usual coffee chains have special season Christmas drinks, such as toffee nut latte, eggnog latte, etc. Do you have a favourite Christmas time drink? If you don't like coffee, it could be something else, such as a mulled wine. Well, not anymore. I used to have. I mean, when I go for a coffee, I usually have a mocha or a latte. Sometimes a cappuccino, sometimes a flat white, but mostly mochas or lattes. When Jambon came to see me in my hometown, not so many weeks back, I had a mocha and they said, do you want the Christmas mocha? See what I mean? So I do know they do them, and I went, yeah, all right, as long as it tastes almost like what a mocha normally tastes like. And then they ask the normal, do you want big thick cream on top and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, I am a coffee drinker, but I don't drink an awful lot of coffee. I might have one in the morning. That'll be it. That'll last me until the next day, really. I don't drink too many hot drinks. More cold drinks. So yeah, I have had the occasional coffee drink. If I'm going to have a special coffee, it might be an Irish coffee, a bit of brandy inside a coffee with a nice swirl of cream at the top. It's quite nice. That's about it. So thanks very much, Carl. Absolutely brilliant of you, and I wish you a Merry Christmas and salute. So we'll go down to Denny before I just go and see if my mum wants a cup of tea, because I forgot to do that before I set the bloody record on, didn't I? And Denny has put, he's great, Denny, like War and Peace. Here we go. Hello, my friend. Merry Christmas to you and your mum and everyone following your content on YouTube. Yeah, thank you. Must say thank you to everybody. Yeah, that's done that for the whole of the year. Brilliant. We've been on a journey together, as I promised. So that's brilliant. You've put, looking forward to 3 miserable buggers discussing Christmas again this year on our Bar Humbug extravaganza. I do jest, but it will be a night of nostalgia, merriment and laughter. It will be. We had a great time last year. It was brilliant. Looking forward to the banter with everybody like we did last year. Yeah. You mentioned about a meteor shower last weekend. I may like to add the last time that happened, the Triffids started to run wild. I know where he's coming from, the Triffids. I mean, if you ever know, there was a light show before the Triffids attack, and it's because part of their alien invasion was to make everybody blind. So they put on a big light show as their ships came in, which isn't really ships. It was about their pods, really, landing, their seed pods. You also mentioned about meeting friends online. Sometimes things don't go to plan. Sadly, some people ain't what they seem on the surface. Others become lifetime friends, which we are and always will be. You have been blessed by so many other good friends. Keep those close and discard the rest. Yes, I think what Denny's trying to put here is that it's been a difficult year for me. It's been a difficult year for him as well. People come and go. People that you thought would be friends for life haven't been and won't be. You can understand why that's happened. You could be totally in the dark about why that happens. What you have to understand is that things like that happen. Nobody is accountable, really. You tend to find it's one score to the other side, one score to your side. At the end of the day, you know which ones will be your true friends. And Denny has been around with me now for quite a few years. We've never ever fell out. And if we did, I think all of those things that we've said to each other the years previous would know that nothing was really meant by it. Nothing was really meant to harm. Do you know what I mean? So, those other ones, I'd just like to say they're still on my mind. As far as I'm concerned, they'll always be part of my memories and life, and life is too short to hold grudges and all of that sort of stuff. New Year is a time to reflect on all of that, so I'll leave it there. But I hold no malice. It's not in me. Whatever happened. And you just go forward, either in a totally new direction, or at some point our paths will meet again. All I know is if that did happen, our paths ever been meet again, I wouldn't be holding any grudges. No. It's not in my nature. So I understand where he's coming from with that. That's a nice sentiment to have, Denny. Thanks very much. This Christmas, or should I say on the run-up to Christmas, I've literally heard very few Christmas songs or very few decorations adorning people's houses or shopping centres. Very disheartening. Doesn't feel like Christmas at all. It's been sort of similar here, although I was going to get my mum's takeaway dinner which she likes on a Saturday. My mum's got a set regime. She likes me going to a chippy or something just once a week. The rest is cooked meals in house, in home. And there was loads of Christmas lights all over the outside of the houses, but where it normally would have filled the whole road, it was like every other house. And I have to think about this as being, Christmas lights lighting up the outside with all our can we afford the heating this year type problems. Yeah, it must be difficult. When it comes to the precinct, they were putting up their Christmas decorations in October in ours. And I haven't really spent much time in town to know what they look like at night. I'm sure it's a spectacle. But, it is what it is, and I dare say certain towns don't have the money. Christmas is cancelled this year type thing. Because they've got to pay for services next year. So, yeah, I do get it a little bit. I must admit, I just don't feel Christmassy at all, just because of how Christmas is in my head compared to other people. If I had a loved one, I think I'd look at life differently. So, yeah. You then continue, Doctor Who animation. Not a fan of the BBC creations, but I'm liking Ian Levine's AI reconstructions. Yes, they are very janky, but miles above the dreadful stuff the BBC have had produced. Yeah, the animation has got a whole discussion by itself, but I'm so glad of them. I've listened to the audio tapes for years. It's nice to put a visual element to it at last, even if it is animated and the animation is poor. It's still better than just listening to the audio tapes. So yeah. Like you, I enjoyed the Arcadia video that RMC did, hoping they can add the remaining games to the system. Not sure why they wanted to add a new produced game though. Yes, I looked at that and went, why? But then I thought to myself, why not as well? It's to prove that you could add any system, including ones designed by yourself. That was pretty good. No doubt you'll bring it up later in the blog, but I have to mention the gift Jim Jam received. Amazing reaction to getting his dream release. The Never-Ending Story special box set from Australia. I believe some friends got together in the spirit of Christmas to get him his wonderful gift. Yeah, it's two things to this, really. I'm so glad for Jim Jam, and he did get his #1 most wanted film you could ever get. And it's £200, this. 3 people, I think, on YouTube got together, pulled their money, bought the Never-Ending Story from Imprint, which is an Australian company, and sent it to him. And he's got it for Christmas. And that's just like subscriber mail. But obviously they're not just subscriber people. They're friends. Like I say, can't fault that. Jim Jam, we'll talk about a little bit later on how many videos he did of that. I have other things, is that I do see a lot of people getting subscriber mail and videos through the post and games through the post or whatever it is. And sometimes I go, wow, nobody's ever done that for me. But when I think back, yeah, I've had the odd one. They've never been really that public, is what I'm trying to say. They've been more in the back end, where people are, in my Discord, say, or in Mamemeister's Discord, have bought me a game through Steam or whatever. There'd be the $2.99 or $3.99 type indie little games, but hey, games nevertheless, and given to me for free. So what can I say? So I don't have any qualms about that. Just reading the rest of this. Yeah, so what I do, the way I was going to go is at Christmas, I tend to find that I don't watch videos of people opening presents because I won't be opening many myself. Why go through the pain of watching somebody else's joy when you're not feeling the joy? It's almost like being the party pooper at a party. You'd rather not be there, and then they can carry on having the laughter, and you will be the element of sadness without them seeing it. Do you see what I mean? You can be sad in the privacy of your own home and not ruin somebody else's fun. So I tend to do the same with YouTube videos. I don't watch people opening boxes around Christmas because it makes me sad that I don't do that myself. So yeah. So with that, I'm just going to make my mum a cuppa, and then I'm going to be straight back. I won't be very long at all. Just like to make sure my mum's comfortable. And it's still quite early, so back in a moment. There you are, my mum's comfortable. And of course, I've made a mistake. Instead of pausing, I stopped, so I've got to do a join. But that'll take me 5 minutes at the end of this, so that's great. So, where were we? So, yeah, we were talking about Jim Jam, but Denny had a question, and he put, So the question for this week: what's your favourite Christmas songs, chart, and hymns? That's an interesting one, isn't it? Christmas for me in my childhood was going to church because I was in the choir, and I always wanted to play the organ, so I started to do some piano lessons for all of that. So I used to like things like Silent Night, In the Bleak Midwinter, that was a favourite of mine. Indulcio Jubilo I used to like, but I probably like that more as a chart hit because Mike Oldfield did that. Chart hit ones that you can't forget: Fairy Tale of New York. I always loved that one. An Unusual Christmas one. Jingle Bell Rock. Used to like that one, probably because was it Brenda Lee that brought that one out? But I used to like the Mel Smith and Mel Smith one. There was a jokey parody one that they did in the 80s. Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. Yeah, I think that was the one, wasn't it, that they did? Which was Brenda Lee, yeah. Jingle Bell Rock was probably more to do with a film that I heard that made me like that more, because it's in many film scores for Christmas. But my favourite one from a film is from Scrooge, which is Put a Little Love in Your Heart, which Bill Murray sings at the end with the whole ensemble of the cast. But it was a Christmas hit for Annie Lennox and Al Green. Played that loads of times in the car. Along, what other one did I put from films? Nightmare Before Christmas. What's This? Yes, I used to play What's This? Which is where the skeleton from that's invading Christmas from Halloween doesn't recognize what Christmas lights are and what's all these colors and all of this sort of stuff. Yeah, used to love that. So yeah, quite a few ones. I mean, I'm missing many classics that I like. There's one that I can never remember the name of it. They rarely play it at Christmas. And it's more a monk's chant type thing that was a Christmas hit. And I can never remember the title of it. I could do a crappy version of it. It goes like, "Oh, they say, Asteria, call a major, they say," something like that. I can never remember the title of it, but it came out one Christmas, got quite high in the charts, and then it's rarely played. Even in shop stores, they rarely play it. But it's a lovely tune, but more churchy. Never remember the title of it. I like that one at Christmas. And I dare say I'll be playing that Christmas as well. So, salute, my friend. Merry Christmas. We'll be speaking tomorrow. And we get to my friend Ian Hill, the Ramblings, and he's put, "Hi, Del Boy. Hope you and your mother are okay and have now done all your Christmas preparations." Well, bloody close. My son today told me he's ordered a Christmas tree and it's coming on Sunday. He said, which is true, that his mum loved Christmas and she would have wanted us to have a tree. So I'm looking forward to getting out of the box full of decorations. He is right, Christmas was important to her. She loved it. Yeah, and you have to sort of remember this. My dad, big fisherman, and somebody who picked up the rod license money. He was a water bailiff. When he retired, it was about 3 or 4 days a week he used to go to the local reservoir near a village called Mollington. And he used to feed the swans. He's very protective of them. go around, do the rod license thing, talk about all of the fishing and all that sort of stuff. And he just loved going down Christmas Day, making sure the swans are all right Christmas Day, because swans are a delicacy for many hobos, people that sleep rough and are, foreign to this land. I think most of them are Romanian or something like that, and they kill the swans. He doesn't like that one bit. He very protective. So he used to go down there and make sure that they were all right, take some bread with him. So yeah, I'll probably be going down Christmas Day. I know I go for a walk Christmas Day, a long one, reflecting on Christmas. Something I like to do before the Christmas dinner, build up an appetite rather than burning it off afterwards. I find my stomach's rather heavy after Christmas and I don't want to walk at all. If I can get my metabolism fast enough, I tend to find it's better to do to go before the Christmas dinner. So yeah, that's something else that you might have learned. You'll learn from me. So yeah, I do recognise that you have to do some of these things in honour of the people that we've lost. So yeah, totally with you on that one. Looking forward to joining you and Denny on Monday for a Christmas Humbug live chat. Yeah, I can imagine what you're going to be bringing to it. We'll have no more conversations of 2001, young man. I'll say young man tongue in cheek, you northern git. Right, now, the saga of the boiler still hasn't ended. Apparently they have ordered a part which hasn't arrived yet. I'm not holding my breath. Yeah, we talked about it on Wednesday and I felt really bad. I just wish they'd come clean, people. Some engineers will take the part out and clean it and put it back. It is the pilot, the boiler pilot in your instance, and they can get coked up. I do recognise that boilers could be 20 years old and it's hard to get a part. So why don't you just turn around and say, look, we're having difficulty getting the part. It's got to come from abroad or whatever, right? Rather than say, oh yeah, back tomorrow. All of that sort of stuff. And all because they've took your part out and they've hoped that they could clean it and charge you for a new part. Hate all that. That's a load of bollocks. Two films I watched and loved were Anora and Shout at the Devil. I managed to download Anora, a film that has been mentioned by Josh and others on our live. Well, yes, and I mentioned it. Anora was something that I think Josh mentioned to me through the lens. And I loved it. I thought it was great. So yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed that one. Let's see what you put. It was a drama with a lot of comedy in it. It was about a sex worker and her relationship with a spoilt son of a very rich Russian family. It was superb and it looked into some unexpected areas. Shout at the Devil, on the other hand, was an action adventure with comedy starring Lee Marvin and Roger Moore. It was one of the Blu-rays Tony had sent me. It was so entertaining with some great comedy chemistry between the two actors. In the extra, there was an hour-long documentary on the life of Roger Moore, which was excellent. Yes, and there's a Life of Roger Moore on at Christmas Day, Channel 5. It's what I'm going to be watching. Glad you like those two films. Absolutely brilliant. So my Christmas question this week is, if you have to make a choice, do you choose a big tin of biscuits or a big box of chocolates? An impossible choice for me. Well, yeah, it's a pretty hard one for me. But I will say this. In our family, we used to go to Woolworths and we used to buy big tins of roses on Quality Street. Not like those tubs that we get now. And they were always put on the table and we'd sit round and watch the Christmas film together as a family. And we used to watch Bond and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and all of those, Willy Wonka and all of that, Sound of Music, all of that at Christmas. The biscuits wouldn't be out. The biscuits would normally be out for the relations that came early in the morning that wanted an alcoholic drink and others that wanted coffee. and with the ones that want coffee, we'd offer biscuits to. So we'd get out the bourbons, and chocolate digestives and all of this. They were the tea time sort of range things, or Fry's chocolates. I remember those. We used to have them, and we used to have biscuits then. So it'd always be never a choice really, because we'd have both during the day. But if I had to choose between the two, it'd probably be the chocolates, just purely because they were just individually wrapped. You had one and you went, yeah, that was fine. And it was nice to eat with a film rather than a biscuit. I find a biscuit you like to dunk, and I haven't got a coffee. I'd be having a soft drink back in my childhood watching the films. Or I'd have a malt whiskey, or a pint, or a tin of lager, in my later years. So yeah, chocolate biscuits and chocolates don't really go with alcohol too much. So the chocolates would just be there. I hope that's answered your question. That's brilliant. All the best wishes to you. Hope you have a grand time. I'm getting better at saying that, by the way, I think. Salute, my friend. Merry Christmas. Let me get to Seb's. It's just a one-liner from Seb. Ha! No worries. Look forward to the Christmas special. Have a good one, matey. Yeah, we'll be meeting up at some point this year, Seb. You're very close to near me. We'll meet up at that arcade place at some point. Salute, Merry Christmas to you, my friend. And we've got Saul Smitherman, who I haven't heard from before. So he's put all the best with your health, Del. And I'm just going to say thank you so much. That's really nice of you. It's been a difficult time. We've been on a journey. I think you've seen me get better. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Have a great one. New year is going to be new directions, new visions. So yeah, brilliant. Merry Christmas and salute, and we move to LFC Gamer and Vlogs. My friend who does some great blogs, by the way. Great. His knowledge of football is great. Anyway, he's put, hi Del. Thanks again for another great vlog, and as always, sending my best wishes to your mum. Some of these steelbook cases look visually stunning, even if it belongs to a film, whether it's one I'm familiar with or not. Zulu, what more needs to be said about that Stonewall classic with Stanley Baker and Michael Caine? But amazingly, I've never seen Zulu Dawn. Oh, yeah, you ought to. It's not as good, but it's sort of like makes the whole battle make sense if you watch Zulu Dawn first, then Zulu. Here come more questions, mostly prepared for Sunday. What weird and possibly aggravating glitches have you encountered with YouTube? I've got two examples. Text remains black even with your appearance turned to dark settings, so you can't see what you're typing unless you revert back to light mode. No lag at all when watching an uploaded video or a premiere, but then crawls to a snail's pace on every stream despite having a strong connection, and lowers the quality to 144p. What in the actual hell is that all about? Oh, I have to say, I'm very impressed. I watch most streams on a 1080p monitor, and YouTube does do its own encoding and drop it even further. So I don't tend to watch it at that higher resolution, but I know what you mean. I've got some niggles, yes. Sometimes I have to have YouTube open on the screen here, and sometimes I have to go and see my mother and have it open on the phone, and I tend to find that text or the conversations that are going on a live stream stop, and if you're typing, it won't appear until you close down one of them, and then you've got just the one open. That happens a lot. Sometimes it's okay. Don't get me wrong. You can have both open, and then you could type one on one and type on another. While they're both open, it'd be fine. But no, that's a niggly little point of mine. And it can screw up the whole of the stream, because if it does happen to you, you tend to find you have to close both, then open one of them back up, and then zoom to get the, zoom forward with like a fast forward button to get to where everybody else is talking. Pain in the arse. And then there's that horrible little heart symbol that's to the just above the chat that gets in the way, so you can't read what people are putting in the conversations. That's a nightmare little piece of shit that they could get rid of, as far as I'm concerned. But other than that, YouTube is free for me. I don't care about the adverting part of it. It's given me the voice for this blog. Great. I can let a lot of things go by and not be upset with anything because of all of that. So, I don't tend to get frustrated. I don't tend to get mad at YouTube too much. There's occasion where it pisses me off. Don't get me wrong. I'm like anybody else. So number 2, what's your favourite Christmas UK number 1 hit? My pick isn't a Christmas song, but it's Always on My Mind by the Pet Shop Boys. I see where you're going with this, yeah, which topped the charts during the festive period in 1987. Not only that, but this may be an unpopular opinion, but I like it more than both the Elvis Presley and the Willie Nelson version. Yeah, I like the Pet Shop Boys one, and I forgot that was a number 1 hit at Christmas. Yeah, there's been a number of those. I know what my nan loved. Now, I didn't like it, but I bought it for my nan for Christmas, and it went to number 1 that year, and it was in 1982 when it was Renee and Renata's Save Your Love. My darling, save your love. It was called Save Your Love, I think it was called. My nan played that to death on. She had one of these long gramophone things, like a sideboard that was a record player and a radiogram all in one. I bought her that. And there was a song just before that I bought for her, which was by Chaz and Dave, called There Ain't No Pleasing You. She played that a lot as well. So these were all in the 80s, and I was moving from, I was a teenager, really, very young teenager when all of those were coming out. Apparently, according to my mum, I couldn't go to sleep as a toddler without hearing Ernie the Milkman, which was a number 1 hit in was 1970. So I would have been, a year later, I'd have been 2 or 3 years old. So yeah, I'd have listened to it probably the following year more. So yeah, there's Ernie the Milkman. I think everybody remembers Bohemian Rhapsody, or know that it went to number 1 at Christmas. And that's a great song, so I can't miss that one out. And it's funny, but it's not the tune that gets me, but it was more the video for Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd. And I remember liking that a lot, because I like the animation, weird animation there was to that. I think Tom Jones has had a number 1 hit. Can't remember. Was it the green grass of home? I don't know. Can't remember. But I know Tom Jones had one in the 60s. That's about it, really. I can't think of any more. Otherwise, they were all Christmas songs. You know what I mean? There's a huge period where there were no Christmas songs, when that crappy Pop Factor, shitty bloody, X Factor, Pop Factor, rock band, all of that nonsense was going around with number 1 songs, and most of them weren't Christmassy at all, but it would make the Christmas number 1 hit for around. And that went on for 8 or so years. 8 years where we didn't have bands making Christmas songs that went to number 1. We had to listen to that rubbish. I think Hallelujah was the closest to a Christmas song that we got. Yeah, awful. They were songs that weren't exactly well named either, like This Is My Song. Great, thanks. That's great, number 1. That's great to have at a Christmas party. Yeah, not like Step Into Christmas. You know what I mean? Step Into Christmas. That's a Christmas song. Elton John. Hop onto your turntable. Wish, you know, all that sort of stuff. That's Christmas. Yeah. So there's that. Number 3. I'm sure you've been asked this before from others. Could be wrong though. But what is your stance on Die Hard? Is it a Christmas film or not? We had this, you know, on Wednesday, you know, on Ian Hills. I've always said, and I'll still keep saying it, that Die Hard is a great film to have the lead up to Christmas, or a film like a Boxing Day film, right? Because it's not a Christmas film as other Christmas films are, you know, like, you know, A Miracle on 34th Street, where it's about Santa, and It's a Wonderful Life, which is all about reflecting on your life, and it builds upon suicides at Christmas. So it's a Christmas Again film. And Scrooged, which is the ghosts telling you just what it means, you know, to have joy and giving in your heart and so forth. They're Christmas films. But Home Alone is set around Christmas time. Die Hard is set on Christmas Eve. Die Hard 2 is at the airport on Christmas Eve. You know, they turn into, are they Christmas films then or not? But to me, they're build-up to Christmas films, or films to blockbuster films to show after Christmas, Boxing Day, and all of that sort of stuff. So, yes, it's a Christmas film, but just. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I've always looked at it. I would not play Die Hard on Christmas Day. It just doesn't make me feel Christmassy watching it, no. So I look at it like that. Hope that answers your question, LFC. Absolutely brilliant. Salute, my friend. Merry Christmas to you and your family. And we get to Colin Jones, who's put, for me, a take 2 is a few minutes. For you, wow, yeah, because I had to record it twice. Yeah, that was tiring. Probably shown towards the end, where I get very tired, can't read the paper, all of this sort of stuff. I have to take a step back. But remember, my blogs are 2 hours plus. So yeah, that's a tricky one. I know that a return to work anxiety would pass once you were back in. Yeah, it's actually still there. I've come back and everybody's treated me really well. I go back to work on the 6th of January, and it'll be all systems go, no face feedback. You are now one of the people, and you're there working 8 hours a day, and therefore the expectations change. So yeah, there's still a bit of anxiety, but I've had a fantastic 2 weeks. Can't say I haven't. It's been absolutely wonderful. So glad to be back. Sending best wishes to your mum. Talking of cartoons, a load of Tom and Jerry cartoons have recently become available on YouTube via the Warner Brothers Classics channel. Yes, I saw that. I've got a Tom and Jerry set of classics, volumes 1 to 5, I think it is, on Blu-ray. And I think it includes all of those classics. It might well be that there's the odd one that's not there. They are generally from the 50s onwards. They don't show the 70s stuff. So I do count the classics as best. You know, brilliant. You've almost completed the game, Frankie. You got 99%, but could never find the Pleasure Dome. That game. I don't know what it is. Just never got into it, and it comes into my head whenever it's mentioned, and I have the tune playing in my head as well, and I can see the little guy going from room to room, just looking at this wallpaper and chairs and kitchen stuff and shit. No, it's not for me. I can understand it for other people, not for me. No. Spot on with the Orange Man's identity. Don't want to trigger the censor bot, though. That's fine. Great answer on emulators. I've also more recently discovered Retro Virtual Machine for Z80 CPU based computers, Spectrum, Amstrad, MSX, and Denise for C64 Amiga. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. We have to remember that emulation is not all just about emulating a machine. It could be emulating just certain aspects, like emulation of a Roland sound card, emulation of Gravis ultrasound, emulation of a GPU, which are there to show how it would work with certain stuff when you don't have the card itself. So turning a high-end graphic card now back in time, where we haven't got all those MMX extensions anymore, direct free tools. So yeah, brilliant. You continue, don't worry on my behalf for not being able to watch. I cannot possibly keep up with every tip of the iceberg of videos I want to watch. I don't worry, but I do get guilty a little bit. But I'm not a Twitch watcher. I can't sort of like apologize for that. But if I miss something on YouTube, I can. But I tell you what, that's another pet hate of YouTube. Telling me about something that's happened the day afterwards. I've had no end of alerts that said, alert, Mamemeister live stream happening Monday. I get that live. It happened Sunday. What's the bloody point? That pisses me off, yeah. You could always use that teleprompter, you know. Yeah, it's still here, you know. That teleprompter is right here. I'll tell you what the problem is. I want to fit it in between the two monitors I've got. I've got a monitor about that high, and I've got the monitor that I've got here with the camera right at me. The teleprompter has got that much there, and I need this to fit in between the two. But to do that, the monitor would be right up there. If I have it to the left, my eyes would be looking left. If I was out to the right, my eyes would be looking right. It needs to be in front. It's therefore going to be ideal for when I'm doing something away from the computer, where I'm recording into a phone device to join later on. I just haven't found the right place for it in my setup. So I'll find a place and it'll be there. I've still got the wand for it. Look, there you go. Look, just there. So it's there for me to do. Just got to do it. My question, other than remembering to write a different number when you sign forms, do you consider the new year to be anything special? That's interesting. Yeah. Apart from putting 2025, you're saying, what's on checks and anything else? What's so special about the new year? Well, for the new year to me has always been that reset, the master reset. As I've told you, ever since I worked on a service desk, if you had a bad call, you reset yourself, right? You go away, have a coffee, forget about that bad call, come in, sit down, put the headset on. Instantly, it's like back to when you first came in the morning, right? No bad calls, nothing. Just get on with the job. And I've always had that ability that when I went to lunch, I'd shut off of anything bad that happened in the morning. And I'd come back in the afternoon as if it was like a brand new day. And I do that regularly now. It's just part of my regime. New Year is my time on New Year's Eve to reflect on the whole of the year. And this year will all be about my health, my heart attack, my getting back to normal life, and all of the sad things that have happened during the year. And it will be like me lighting a match under a piece of paper and saying that match has now lit that year. It's gone. Gone. You're going now forward and you forget all that crap, right? Try not to have other people remind you of it. You know what I mean? Move forward, learn the experience, forget about it, right? You've got the experience of what happened, how it affected you. You now move forward, new experiences, new life. That's generally my new year. That's how I look at it. I think I've learned an awful lot since my dad died, to be quite honest. I have been in the past one of these people that said, I'm going to start my diet at New Year. I'm going to go to the gym more in New Year. All that New Year's resolution bollocks, right? And I used to hate, and I used to be just like a lot of people. And that is, if I missed the alarm clock at, say, 7 o'clock and it said 7:03, I won't get up until it's 7:05, 7:10, all of that sort of stuff. What nonsense. How to live your life like on a clock or a number or something. Live life for now. Do things now. Don't keep putting things off. Get that passport renewed. Think about that mad thing that you could do in the summer with that. You go, I'm going to go on holiday tomorrow. Bang. Go. Not this. Oh, I should have renewed it. I've got to wait 2 weeks for it to be renewed. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be doing more and more and more of that. You know. Oh, yeah, I am going to go to that arcade club meet. All of that sort of stuff. It will all be down to my mum's health, of course. Don't get me wrong. But I could be more spontaneous. So, yeah. Thank you very much, my friend. I hope that answers you. Can't wait for your next vlog, matey. Absolutely brilliant. We got Martroid next. Oh, no, sorry. Merry Christmas and salute, my friend. We got Martroid next. Oh, he says, I'm now highly anticipating your Christmas Day vid, Del. I reckon it sounds awesome. Every Christmas Day I've done something. My blog was on a Christmas Day one year. And then therefore I had a blog on New Year's Day as well. When everybody else was doing pre-recorded stuff, I was there live. I've got my idea for Christmas Day, and that is to do my 60th video of my friends' requests, going back over the 7 different games that each people have asked me to play, choosing one of them and doing it as my favourite game that my friend gave me of the 7 that he chose. Do you know what I mean? And do it for all 7 friends. The question was I going to go to my friends and say, can you choose it for me? Or whether I was going to choose it myself. I still haven't made that decision yet. But the more I leave it, the more it'll be harder for me to go back to my friends and say, can you name one of them? Because they'd have to also try and remember what the 7 games were. And they've also got their own Christmas preparations. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be me choosing. And I'll just choose my favourites. Or the ones why it was memorable. You know? So that's what Christmas Day is bringing. So thank you, my friend. Merry Christmas to you. Salute. And we move to Wee Bob Art. He's put, decided to comment when I have watched this rather than waiting. Really glad that life is going decent. It is a nice change. Touch wood. I need to watch Last Night in Soho again, as it has been a while since I've seen it, perhaps over the Christmas period. Watched Juror number 2 this weekend, and it got amazing reviews from what I read, but it fell flat for me. Not sure if it's on your list or not. Yes, it's on my list, but I'm wondering myself whether it's going to beat 12 Angry Men. Oh, 12 Angry Men, what a film. I mean, and I'm talking both versions of 12 Angry Men that I've watched. The original, plus the Jack Lemmon one that was done in the 90s. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to 2 weeks off. And when you read this on camera, I'll be a few days into the Christmas holiday. Whoop, whoop. Yes, I'm in my Christmas holiday now. Whoop, whoop. Thanks for answering my question as best you could regarding presents for parents. My mum and dad are in their mid-70s and are difficult to buy for. At least if they like to drink, I could buy them a bottle of something, but no such luck. Yeah, and you'd already chosen the number one that I would have chosen, which is hot water in a cup instead of a kettle, which I'd already bought my mum. And my mum is 83, so yeah. Anyway, question for next week. As it is Christmas, let's sort of keep it Christmas related. Let's imagine Doctor Who has brought out a Christmas song similar to that of the 70s, 80s and 90s. Can you imagine what it might be like, or what the music video might entail? E.g. Daleks in tinsel, and perhaps a bunch of Cybermen swaying back and forth like they were in a Cliff Richard video. Just a bit of fun. All the best to you and your mum and family over the festive period. It's funny. You've brought back a memory. I actually changed the words to a famous song and thought of it as a Christmas hit, right? And it was based on a Dad's Army. Well, it's a World War II tune. And it went, run, doctor, run, 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 run. Don't let the Daleks have their fun. They'll get by without their Time Lord pie. So run, doctor, run, run. I remember doing that in the 80s. That's right. And I suppose we could have a Christmas video to that. You could even have that running in the background of a Commodore 64 sideways scrolling run and gun thing. But there you are. A memory just out of my head that comes back. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Let's hope that nobody remembers it next year. Jesus Christ. Oh, dear. Salute, my friend. Merry Christmas to you. Hope that made you smile and laugh. Thank you. Then we've got Lucky 2807. I think I wrote him down actually as Saul Smitherman, is it? Oh no, it's Mucky Man. Yeah, there we go. Mucky Man it is. He's put playing Albatrosity on my ZX Touch. Thumbs up. Yeah, I didn't get the line, but I do know the game, and the game was something that Steve has been playing. So Steve actually answered and said it's a good game as well. Whatever you're playing, my friend, I hope you have a great Christmas and a fantastic New Year. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Absolutely brilliant. I love new people that comment, no matter how abstract it is. Have a great one. Have a drink on me. That's all I can say about it. And that is the end of the shout-outs, believe it or not. So, I'm going to check on my mum once more. This time I'm going to hit the pause key. Thank God. And I'll be back in just a moment, because we're just going to do the watched on YouTube and, you know, that sort of stuff, and then the trailers. So, back in a moment. And I'm back, and we're going to get on now with Watched on YouTube. And as you know, I watch two direct channels straight away, This Week in Retro and Techmoan. And as I said last week, the lead commentator, you know, the person who owns that channel of Techmoan, he'd lost his voice. So it was Wednesday, I think, he actually brought out a video that he would have brought out last Saturday. And so I'll talk about it this week. But This Week in Retro first, their three subjects were Bin Your Vintage Hardware, Scammers, and Amiga Takes Max Damage. All of them were really, really interesting. I always find I'm saying that. I don't want to give too much away. But the Scammers is that, just to let you know, it's more information really on that guy that's brought out a Sega device. He's shown off his PCB board for it, but he was supposed to take some money that was a deposit, and then after the deposit was taken, suddenly took all the money for it. And this PCB board has been examined in the videos by many, many people and said that board would never work, which means it's a scam, and it's all about Kickstarters. So that's the sort of thing that you're going to get with This Week in Retro, talking about these news articles that are happening in the computer at the moment, you know, that's being chatted about on places like YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and all of the social events. Some of it great news and some of it bad news, like that scammers one. Always interesting to watch at the end of the week some of the highlighted points of what's been happening this week in retro. Absolutely brilliant. Techmoan was an interesting one because I didn't even know this. Sony did bring out a Walkman that could take 2 cassettes either side, one side to record, one side to play. They only brought it out for a short period of time. It didn't take on. You can understand, if you think about it, why it wouldn't take on, which is, why would you want to record on the go? Normally you'd record on your hi-fi at home, put it onto a tape, and then listen just to the single-sided Walkman that you always had. There is less capability for Dolby noise reduction on these things. It wouldn't be recording on any different types of tape that were out, metal, Ferox, all of those. Yeah, so he called it Twin Tape Walkman Worth Copying ? And it was brilliant. Didn't know about it, and apparently there was only one other manufacturer that made any device anything like it, and it was better than the Sony one. So there you go. Other stuff I watched. There was one by a channel called Tony Riccardi. He did Ghosts and Demons, a fan-made Ghosts and Goblins. I knew about this. I had it long time ago. Apparently it's now finished. I need to download it again, therefore, because it was unfinished when I downloaded it 4 years ago, during COVID, I think it was, just before. Rock hard game. Rock hard. Harder than Ghosts and Goblins. But I love Ghosts and Goblins. Gotta have Ghosts and Goblins in my life. Must have it. So that was good. He's put it inside his arcade machine, set it all up, playing it on his cab system. Brilliant. Then, as I mentioned all the other weeks, and thank you, Denny, for introducing me, it was Chronologically Gaming. He's still in November 82, but he's at the end, getting to the end now. So we're heading very, very closely into 83, where, for me, it exploded game-wise for me, and the quality went up as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. I watched the DC channel this week, the Detective Comics channel, that bring out all the comics, because, like most people know, there's a new Superman movie coming out, and they launched the trailer. So I was interested to know what it was going to look like. So, you know, I watched it. I don't really have an opinion on it. I'm a Marvel person. I've collected Marvel comics for years, but I've collected Batman and Superman through the years, and I've seen the early 40s, 50s, 60s comics. And I grew up reading the odd one. I have a nostalgia, therefore, for Superman, especially Christopher Reeve. So it's interesting to know what this one's going to be like. I've been disheartened by Superman films of the last 10 years. But this one looks more to my taste. Then on the news, they mentioned that Step Into Christmas by Elton John had been redone, the video, by a supermodel playing the Elton John role and redoing the whole Elton John video, so she would be miming to it, a little bit like This Train Don't Stop Here Anymore, which was a brilliant video that then turned into the Elton John musical video film that came out a couple of years back. So it was like a proof of concept, really. So Step Into Christmas was great because it's one of my favourite Christmas chart hits. And it was nice to see somebody playing Elton John instead of Elton John being there. Just a nice little thing. Then there was a channel called Mr. Computer, who showed off the Star Trek 25th anniversary game, but showed it on the Amiga, the 1200, in fact, which I wouldn't have seen because I'd have bought the PC by then. I had actually the CD enhanced version of the 25th anniversary game. It was a point-and-click type adventure thing. But it was nice to see the Amiga one. And my God, it looked like the PC version. Very, very close. Who said that the Amiga couldn't do PC stuff? Definitely was nice to see. And then there was a channel called Chaos Ensues, and actually it was all about comics, this one. It was Growing Pains of the 1970s Fantastic Four comic. Yes, because big changes happened in 1970 to the world's greatest comic, as it was called, the Fantastic Four, because Kirby left issue 102 and Stan Lee left as writer issue 125. So there was massive changes between issues 102 and issue 200. And of course my omnibuses are now covering that period, but I remember buying the comics in that era, so it was nice to look back at that. So then there is just the people that I normally watch, and this one I didn't watch, but I just want to give a big shout out to Euphoria Pictures. He's doing a standalone chat tonight without his buddies. And I just want to do a big shout out to him, because it's very scary doing a live chat by yourself. It'll be with his wife, of course, just making sure that there aren't some rowdy people and putting some nasty comments, which happens in live ones. But I wish him all the best for that, because that's a scary thing to do. And if it's the first time you've done it, which I think it is for Keith in this matter, I just want to wish him all the best, and of course a Merry New Year in the future. But then we get to the ones I have actually watched, and that's Ian Hill, The Ramblings. Oh my God. Apart from what I do on Wednesday, this is just his output, right? It reads like a bloody great big list. It's the biggest list on there. Look, it's the biggest list on there about what I've watched on here. It is the top 5 sci-fi films of 1976 to 83, Speak No Evil unboxing, packaging from Denny, a package that he opened from Denny, Noah, the film review, Doctor Who, Meglos review, X-Files Season 3 Episode 2 review, Led Zeppelin CD collection overview, and Live With Me on Wednesday. What more could you ask for? My God, this man, he's, 20 years older than me? That's my little dig, you northern git. And his output is just it's astronomical. No wonder he's got more subscribers than me. My God, he deserves them. Jesus, it's like 2 a day from him. It's mental. So, salute, my friend. And then, of course, Through the Lens, which I try to watch as much as possible, but I don't want to watch the ones where it's at the cinema at the moment, because I want to watch it myself. But I have actually seen Craven the Hunter, and he's done a review of that. I might give an opinion of Craven the Hunter. It's got bad reviews. I can understand the bad reviews. For me, though, it deserves an awful lot of criticism, but I'd give it a different take. But Through the Lens, can't fault it. He also does the film Carry On save Netflix? Because Netflix used to make lots and lots of movies, one-off movies. They've done one called Carry On. He's watched it. He wanted to know, does that save Netflix? Because their output has diminished so much. So that's interesting. Brilliant. Carrying on the Craven theme, it's Mondo Chelloveck Movies. Oh, by the way, salute, my friend Josh. That's brilliant. Through the Lens. Definitely go and watch. Mondo Chelloveck Movies, another one to watch. He's done a video that I think we should have done years back, which is, and the title of his video, which is quite long, is The Negative Trend, right? Now, I'm a fan and a non-fan of where he went with this, because I'm quite all up there with everybody on this. We are negative for no reason for games, films, and everything, like Craven the Hunter, right? If you're a comic book fan, right, you know what you want from the film, right? And you basically, therefore, going with an opinion before you've even seen the film, like what a load of crap it's going to be, why are they making this film, those sort of negative aspects. And the reason for it is because we've been let down a number of times. So you instantly go in with a negative. It's happened with Alien Romulus. Oh no, not another Alien film. It's not going to be continuing where I want it to be. It's going to be slotted in. It's what's the point in it, etc., etc. All negative, negative, negative. Why can't we be positive? And that's the point of the video. Okay. The one caveat that I have about it is we have a right to be despondent before a film comes out, like Craven. We want Craven to be in a Spider-Man film. We don't want him to be in his own film. We know the character. From the character's perspective, it's a bit linear. Very... something that we wouldn't think would work in a film because there's just not enough content there, right? Craven is a fantastic character, and a character that is always denoted to be in Spider-Man. And in fact, in a story called Craven's Last Hunt, a very psychological 6 comic story, he blew his head off. I don't care if I'm a spoiler in this. It's from 1980 something, 85, 86, right? And it tells the tale of why he blew his head off. And the film is going to go no way near even what that story is, right? And you couldn't do that story without telling the tale of who Craven is. And really, that character should be in the next Spider-Man film, but he's not. They decided, Sony, to do a film, and they've done it because if they didn't do it, they might lose the license to Spider-Man altogether, because they have to bring out a film every so many years. It's all part of contract and copyright bollocks, right? But from a point of view of a fan, they're going to go, I want it in a film with Spider-Man. I want it to be not his own film. So automatically, even I go in with a sort of a negativity to it. The trouble is, what I totally agree with, I won't voice my negative nature till I see the film, where some people will have a negative aspect and badmouth it from the very beginning. And when they've seen it, they actually will badmouth it more. And there are so many people that join the bandwagon without seeing it as well, which means the film is doomed to failure from the start. Nobody writes a film or makes a film, really, I think, to bring out a bad film, which is where I totally agree. And the other thing I totally agree with, we're too negative. We shouldn't be negative. But, you know, I've even seen people that I've got great respect for talk negatively about a film when they've actually seen it. When they retrospectively look at a series, they'll go, oh, that film was awful, right? Well, that's, again, bad-mouthing a film, and they didn't necessarily go out to write a bad film, did they? And you're critiquing it and giving it a bad review, and then other people see that, and everybody jumps on the bandwagon, and it's negative again, right? So I do get it. And the one thing I will say is, love the video from Mondo Chelloveck. It's such an interesting article. It's definitely worth your time to watch. It's great because you can have 90% opinion correct, 80% opinion correct, your own opinion saying it's totally wrong. That's the beauty of YouTube. Fantastic. Long may it be there. Jim Jam, we've mentioned him before. My friend Jim Jam, Movies and TV. He's had a best of weeks. And I hope it continues into Christmas and the New Year for my friend. 3 people have pulled together and got him the greatest gift that you could possibly get. The Never-Ending Story from Australia, which is a £200 film. What can you say? Marvelous. If somebody had done that to me, I think I'd be leapfrogging over the. I'll be doing double somersaults in the back garden. Somebody had got me something like that. You know, it's not going to happen for me. I'm just going to say it's absolutely fantastic. When I think back at Christmases which ones were my favourite? 1980s. Definitely 1980. I remember in 1980, my dad bought me Big Track. It was a roboted truck that you programmed. Loved that. And in the same year or the year before, I got Simon and Mr. Merlin. Played those to death. I think with Big Track, I got the $6 Million Man Bionic watch. It was just my first digital watch. You press the button, the red digital display. Fantastic. I was a kid. Loved it. You know, so much better than Operation the Mad Doctor's Game, my thoughts were. That was kiddie stuff. When I was a kid, still a kid myself, but I was just thinking, wow, I got Big Track. You know what I mean? It was like that. And I saved for ages to buy the little pickup truck that you attached to it because it didn't come with it. I got that about a month or two afterwards because my birthday is very close to Christmas. So Jim Jam's so happy for him. He's got his Prezi from 3 people that pulled together. I mean, they must have put, 65 quid together each. Get that, just over 70 quid each. Yeah. And then did you see that? Absolutely brilliant. I watch him now and again. He does some live streams. But this week he did a film review of Moana 2 and also the film review of Mufasa the Lion King. Both reviews. Definitely worth your time. He does other stuff as well. Don't get me wrong. Definitely worth your time. So that's what I've watched on YouTube. Like I say, if something's not mentioned there, which I mention other weeks, I haven't got every second of the day all week to watch these things. I watch them as best as I can, watch as much of them as I can. There's no other reason other than time that stops me from watching something. So there we go. Final stretch, your YouTube. That is the stuff that members of my Discord, members of Mamemeister's Discord, or friends that I've met through Alan and Mamemeister and a number of others that have got their own channel that I watch each week. So we've got Down the Rabbit Hole. Mentioned him a lot of times. He did a couple of videos. Atari 2600 Word Zapper is fun. He played a game called Word Zapper. It sounds very much like you have to spell things and it zaps things. Seen a number of those, like Typing of the Dead. They are quite fun. People don't see the fun aspect in them when they think about it. They go, oh, typing, I want a light gun to play that game. No, some of them are really quite fun to play. Brilliant. He also did Vectrex Christmas games, a singular cartridge that's got 2 on there called Save the Trees and Stocking Filler. Looked at it, looked brilliant. I'd play that at Christmas. Absolutely fantastic. And then we come to, so salute, my friend. Merry Christmas to you as well. We get to Robert's Retro Gaming, which I mentioned last week is less output because he's on holiday and he's had a few technical issues. But wherever you are in the world, matey, on your holiday, I hope you're having a great time. But you've given us No Man's Sky episodes 11 to 14. No Man's Sky is a great game, so it's definitely worth you a watch. And it's great to watch these things anyway. And he'll be back very soon. So worth your time subscribing now. Which takes us to Steve's Gaming. You bastard, fucking hate you, little shit. That's my little salute to Steve. No, he's great. He sent me a Christmas present, by the way, which I think has arrived. It's a funny story, this, that goes with others. I've sent out Christmas presents to a number of people this year, like I do every year. And I've spent my time this year having it gift wrapped by Amazon. Every single one that's gone out there, they've been opened already. If I knew that they were going to open already, I wouldn't gift wrap them. But I gift wrapped them saying, do not open till Christmas. And every single one's been opened. I haven't opened anything. If I think it's got a present in it, I've put it under the tree and I'll open it. So to all the people that have sent me a little Prezi, first of all, thank you so much. I don't get presents. maybe it's my own fault. I don't know. But secondly, I never know how to take it really, because I'm a giver rather than a receiver. That being said, I put all mine under the tree just in case. I'd rather open them late than open them early. I want something to open at Christmas. Usually at Christmas, this is quite true, for the last, must be 10 years or so, my mother is the only one who's given me a gift. And that gift has been money. So it's paid for the things that I've paid for other people to have gifts with, which makes a nonsense of Christmas a little bit. But the sentiment is always there. Love it from my mum. It'll be no different this year. But this year I've got a couple of other presents. So I'm really looking forward to opening those. I'll probably do an unboxing of them. But I don't think of it as subscriber mail and all of this sort of crap. I look at it as people that want to see me happy. And I'd love to be able to open them up so that they can see my face. Because I won't be under the tree with them watching me. And I think that's the sad side of gift giving by post. You never get to see their face when they open it up. They go, oh, wow! And all of that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So that will probably happen at Christmas as well. So what has Steve been bringing out? So he's brought Advent Calendar episodes 16 to 22. Home Soft Disc episodes 27 to 28. BBC Games Not Played Before, episode 6. Spectrum Games Plain Lazy, Shylock Gnome, and Charity Bundle. Amiga Game Santatron. Yeah, and that's everything. One of those Spectrum Games Charity Bundle. I must admit, I'm intrigued by a number of those games. And I'm a big person on charity. But I've got very little nostalgia in Spectrum. Very little. I love the machine. I play the games. I've become addicted to certain ones that have come out since I was doing my series of my friends have asked me to play games. Would I pay £16 for a set of games which some of it goes to charity? I shouldn't even think twice about it and I should buy them, but I won't. If that had been a Commodore 64 bundle, I'd have bought it. Probably because I'm more likely to have a nostalgia bent to it and remembering compilations like Soft Aid than the Spectrum. If that was also done on the Commodore 64, I'd be buying the Commodore 64 side of things. From what I've seen of videos, there have been a couple that I want to play, and that is, there's a game there called Nothing. That is definitely a game I'd play on the Spectrum, the 64, the PC, whatever, right? But it's on the Spectrum and on the PC. So I could ask Steve, can you send me that one game? But it's charity game. Charity, you shouldn't be giving away charity games. You should say, oi, matey, go and buy it yourself. But I'd rather pay £16 to Humble Bundle than I would that. So I'll probably be doing that. So that's Steve Gaming. My salute to him. He did actually give me a message. I'll try and read it out. Because it didn't display, unfortunately. It's in the Discord, so let me just get to it. And here we go. I'll read it out verbatim to you. I don't know why it didn't display. He put, I put in there some time ago. Was it deleted? Let me go see. Hi, Del. Good blog as always, but if they get much longer, I'll have to watch them in parts. Lots of laugh. By the way, I'm loving your new series. That's the Astrometica. Thank you so much. I'm sure in your new section you'll mention that horrific attack in Germany. I heard about it and it made me feel ill. I really feel for the people involved, and it's tragic for those lost and their families. And I believe it was a 9-year-old child, which is even more heartbreaking. Maybe I'm stupid, but I just cannot even begin to understand why people do this. What does killing innocent people get them? Nothing. Let alone at all. It's pointless, and this piece of scum will now, this piece of scum will now spend years in a nice, warm and cushy jail cell. Well, if it was up to me, he'd have a long drop on a short rope. Yeah, me too, a little bit on that one. Now on to the questions. Question 1. At what age were you when you found out that Santa Claus didn't exist? You what? Do you mean Santa Claus doesn't exist? Oh, are you telling me something? Well, you're hurting me. Of course Santa Claus exists. Jesus Christ, what are you, man? There's so much bloody evidence to prove that Santa Claus exists. Oh, no, I can't have that. Question 2. What was your best and worst Christmas present ever? Take care, mate, and I hope that you and your mum have a great Christmas. What's your best and worst Christmas present ever? And I mentioned Big Track earlier on. My Evel Knievel and $6 Million Man were top toys at the time. I got many games. I got the computers myself mostly, but not all of them. I think the VIC 20 was a Christmas present. Not sure on that one. Yeah, it was. So those are the highs for definite. And anything that's a surprise in the last 15 years has been a high for me. Because it was more not about the present and whether I enjoyed it because it was a fantastic present, but more about the surprise of getting it. I never thought I would. And that's as big as having the best present in the world, as far as I'm concerned. Worst presents, I haven't really had them, but I always, as a kid, used to go, bath salts, what's this shit? You know, as a kid, because you wanted the toy, didn't you? You didn't want Matey Boy soap. You didn't want even as well socks, and you didn't want in your teens somebody buying you a shaving kit. To be quite honest, it was like, wow, you've stopped me having a bite in January and February, I suppose, but that's about it. So I'm not going to go on about the worst presents because they were still useful. But yeah, as a kiddie, I was disappointed if it wasn't a toy or electronic device that made me go, wow, like this. Thank you so much, my friend. I think your present's arrived. It's under the tree. I'll try and do an unboxing. You'll definitely get a Christmas message from me, as many of you will do that I've got personal contacts with. To the rest, it will be a hearty at the end of this blog. So my salute to you bastard. And we move on to Seb's place. Yes, he did a video this week. He's done a review and play of SNES games for the letter M, which is part of his series, which is brilliant. And he's done an 8 Bits for Everyone giveaway, which is absolutely wonderful of him. But I am worried for my friend Seb, and I'll explain why. Giveaways have to have a disclaimer that basically says that YouTube are not involved. You have to put a disclaimer that you're not going to keep people's email addresses or addresses in any shape or form, and that they will be destroyed, or you have to mention how you're going to keep that data. That's the Data Protection Act. You have to follow these rules. If you don't have that in your description, you can have all sorts of things happen to you. My advice to Seb is get that changed. But all I can say to you is, what a fantastic guy for actually doing that. I mean, he's giving away games and computers and all sorts of stuff. He gets no money profit from it whatsoever. So the intention is, and it's all for charity, fantastic. Please go and enter his competitions. Like I said, I'm just a little bit worried, a little bit concerned. But we move on. Salute, by the way, and Merry Christmas to my friend Seb. Absolutely fantastic. Mentioned him before already. Colin Jones, he did a quick gameplay of a VIC 20 game called B Squared, and my God, was I captivated. I'd buy that game. I'd play that game. Absolutely fantastic. Please keep going, Colin, and fantastic stuff. And then we've got my friend Mamemeister. So saluting, Merry Christmas to Colin. Mamemeister's been very busy this week. Nice and Nasty podcast with a coder called Raphael Kiko. I think that's how you pronounce his name, Keko. Raphael Kiko. That was an interesting conversation. He did a SNK versus Capcom for the Commodore 64. Very interesting look at that game, because it made you think about other games that of why they weren't of that quality, you know, back in the day. So that was great. And then he did a Friday waffle with Dean Swain. I've never met Dean Swain, I don't think, but it was interesting for him to have his chat. He's had chats with him before. Great to see his kit. He had a few Wi-Fi problems on that particular event. A shame, but these things happen. Can't be too upset about that. And that's the end of the blog. That is really the text side of things all out the way. I hope you've enjoyed that. We always do what I've bought, so I'll change the cam. There we go. Hopefully you can still hear me. These are the things that have arrived this week. There is Demolition Man in 4K in a nice sort of like Arrow box set. I don't think it's a steel book, so I'm still glad that I've got my steel book of that. Demolition Man, I really do enjoy that film. A couple of films by the same director here. You've got The Sixth Sense, which I've talked about before, which is a disappointing film to me, but not from the first time I watched it. More to do with I know the ending, and really there isn't much for me to watch in it anymore, but I'll be watching it once more now. And then again, the film Signs, which I think is a good film. That's a great film. Love that. Just watch The Other Side. Both of these are steel books. This one a bit more plain than Sixth Sense. I'll just show you The Sixth Sense again. You'll see it's got some embossing. It's in a nice cardboard case there. And there's some debossing in The Sixth Sense. It's actually engraved, so that's quite nice. Another copy of Furiosa. This is the black and white version. So I've got the colour and the black and white one now in 4K. There you can see the back. Some people, when the last time they did this little trick of colour and black and white, they said the black and white one was better. So maybe that'll be the same with this one. This finally arrived, Zulu Dawn. We talked a little bit about it earlier. I saw it on telly a couple of weeks ago, realised I didn't have it and I only had Zulu. I've now got the complete thing. So that was cheap enough to buy. And then this one, a bit more obscure. It's called The Stone Tape. It's a BBC drama production that came out back in the day. Really quite nice. Looking forward to watching that again. Yeah, 72. Christmas Day it came out. Yeah, it's a film. That's right. Sometimes I get mixed up with whether things are a series or a film. But that's what's turned up this week. But I normally do some trailers of those things that I've got. But it's getting close to Christmas. And there are films that I'll be watching over the next couple of days, or I've already watched in the lead up to Christmas. So we're going to turn to media playback. There we go. And I'm going to play some trailers to films that I hold in high regard for Christmas, plus one that's quite a modern Christmas one right at the end, which I finally got round to buying. And looking forward to watching again. It came out of the cinema this year, and a lot of people have been talking about it and love it. It's right at the end, but here we go with the trailers. So I'm going to shut up now, and I hope you enjoy these trailers. Just bear with me. It seems like that's probably because I've had the thing open for a while. So we'll go to open up films. I'll just pause it while I just get the technical side of this sorted. Do apologise. There we go. I've got the technical bit sorted out. It's just a hook to the E drive that's gone to sleep. No problem. So I'm just going to turn the mic off again. Here we go with the trailers.
Well, who are you?
I told you, George, I'm your guardian angel.
What is it you want, Barry? You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Welcome home, Mr. Bailey.
Sentimental hogwash. I wish I had $1 million. Mr. and Mrs. Martini, welcome home.
This is what I wished for.
You see, George, you really had a wonderful life.
Merry Christmas!
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right. That's right.
Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la.
After vacationing across America and throughout Europe,
Take it, Russ.
this holiday season, the Griswolds are going to play it safe.
Clark, we're stuck under a truck.
They're staying at home.
I give you the Griswold family Christmas tree.
Hope you're not getting sap all over your sweater, Clark.
All Clark wants is a quiet, old-fashioned Christmas.
Sorry. Got a little knot here. You can work on that.
What he's going to get is the gift that keeps on living.
Merry Christmas.
His family.
We didn't come to impose.
Oh, hell, there's plenty of room.
Do you sleep with your brother? Do you know how sick and twisted that is, Mom? Well, I'm sleeping with your father.
Have you got a kiss for me?
You better take a rain check on that, Art. He's got a lip fungus they ain't identified yet.
But no holiday could ever be more deeply touching.
We were gonna call, but Eddie wanted to make it a surprise.
If I woke up tomorrow with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now. We're really gonna fly down the hill with this stuff.
So genuinely moving.
Can I refill your eggnog for you? Drive you out to the middle of nowhere, leave you for dead?
More truly uplifting.
Can I show you something?
I was just browsing.
Or more down to earth.
Merry Christmas!
If Santa is smart, he'll stay well clear of this joint. It's a death trap.
Than Christmas with the Griswolds.
Everybody come out quick, look at the lights!
They want you to say grace.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
This year, let Chevy Chase light up your holidays. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That thing had 9 lives. She just spent them all.
You crack up.
Humbug. He was the greediest man alive.
It's Ebenezer Scrooge.
Until the night he met someone extraordinary.
Hello.
The Muppet Christmas Carol.
I'll drink to Mr. Scrooge, even though he is odious and stingy and badly dressed.
Humbug.
Oh, there goes Mr. Humbug. There goes Mr. Grin.
Do you think it's safe for us to be up here?
They gave a prize for being mean. The winner would be him.
Yes, Mr. Cratchit.
If you please, Mr. Scrooge, the bookkeeping staff would like to have an extra shovel full of coal for the fire.
Our assets are frozen.
How would the bookkeepers like to be suddenly
Unemployed!
Heat wave. Oi! This is my island in the sun.
It's Charles Dickens' classic tale, as only the Muppets can tell it.
It's good to be heckling again.
It's good to be doing anything again.
Filled with holiday warmth
Hey, like the lamp, not the rat, like the lamp, not the rat.
and Christmas spirit.
Jacob Marley.
Oh, that's
scary stuff. Should we be worried about the kids in the audience?
No, it's all right. This is culture.
This is the movie to see, to share, to cherish with someone you love.
Thank you for making me a part of this.
Walt Disney Pictures presents from Jim Henson Productions, The Muppet Christmas Carol.
God bless us, everyone.
Whatever.
Seven o'clock, Psycho sees Santa's workshop, and only Lee Majors can stop them. In the night the reindeer died. Be here.
Well, you can't show that commercial. That thing looked like the Manson family Christmas special.
Think I'm way off base?
Yes, you're a tad off base, sir.
Frank Cross is more than the youngest network president in television history.
Call security, have them change his locks, and toss him out of the building.
Oh, he's fired? It's Christmas.
Thank you. Call accounting. Stop his bonus. Oh, watch out.
Ah!
He's a thoughtful boss.
Thanks, boys. Get the nurse.
A generous brother.
What did he give you last year?
I don't remember. A shower curtain. Excuse me, ma'am. I think you dropped something here.
And a true humanitarian.
I can't get the antlers glued onto this little guy. We've tried crazy glue.
Have you tried staples?
But his life is about to change.
Woo-wee! That was a good one.
You are going to be visited by 3 ghosts tomorrow at noon.
God, tomorrow's bad for me, Lou. As a matter of fact, the whole rest of the week is a washout. Ow.
Anyone who thinks he hates Christmas is wrong.
Go back to Jersey, you moron!
It's ghosts he hates.
I love that bit!
I'm the ghost of Christmas present.
Bill Murray. Karen Allen.
You sounded like you'd seen a ghost.
A ghost?
John Forsythe. Bobcat Goldthwait.
Hey! You glad to see me, or is this a shotgun in your pocket? You know this one?
Everybody knows this one. Let's go now.
How does everybody know this one?
Carol Kane. Robert Mitchum.
I really care.
David Johansen.
Oh, I'm having the weirdest day.
See Bill Murray get Scrooged.
Hey, back off, big man. That may work with the chicks, but not with me.
You just earned yourself a detention, sir.
Me with you is already one big detention.
Son of a...
Sir, I don't understand.
That's glaringly apparent.
I can't fail this class.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Mr. Coates. I truly believe that you can.
Every year at Barton Academy, students, faculty, and staff depart the campus for a 2-week winter break. But there are always an unfortunate few who have nowhere to go for the holidays. They're known as the holdovers.
Mr. Hunnam.
Hello, Mary.
I heard you got stuck with babysitting duty this year. How'd you manage that?
You know, he used to be a student, right? Yeah, that's why he knows how to inflict maximum pain on us.
I thought all the Nazis were hiding in Argentina.
Stifle it, Tully. You just earned yourself a detention, sir.
Being here with you is already one big detention.
Son of a bitch, that's another detention.
Do you think I want to be babysitting you? No, I was praying your mother would pick up the phone or your father would arrive in a helicopter or a flying saucer.
My father's dead.
You don't tell a boy that's been left behind at Christmas that nobody wants him? What's wrong with you?
There's nobody here, okay? You stay out of my way, and I'll stay out of yours.
Let me sleep. Now, most of the kids dislike you, pretty much hate you. Teachers, too. You know that, right?
I find the world a bitter and complicated place, and it seems to feel the same way about me. I think you and I have this in common.
I don't think I've ever had a real family Christmas like this before. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
History is not simply the study of the past, it is an explanation of the present.
See, when you say it that way and throw in some pornography, it's a lot easier to understand.
No matter what you are.
I'd like to propose a toast to my 2 unlikely companions.
Are you trying to look down my shirt?
No. Yes. You're gonna get me fired.
This is your Rubicon. Do not cross the Rubicon.
The Holdovers.
There's the trailers, and I could have added the original Scrooge in there and many others. Like I said, had a ball doing the blog. Looking forward to the New Year reflection. Looking forward to my chats with Denny and Ian on Monday. Doing a Christmas video for you all. And I can't imagine me just having more fun time, to be quite honest. Fantastic. I hope everybody has a great Christmas. I'll be speaking to you all before the new year, and have a great time. Whatever you're doing, just love your family, and see you soon. Hope you like this. Bye bye and salute.